بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على من بعث رحمة للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. This is Imam Hamid from North FInchley Masjid. One would look at the times that we are living in today and see what is happening with regards to the coronavirus and how it's changed our lives. See what's happening around the world with regards to the poverty and the wars and the oppression and transgression of mankind upon one another and upon the natural world. It's safe to assume, or one would assume, with everything that's going on, that there is somehow a lack of justice in this world. And with a lack of justice, there takes the presence of oppression, which is often coined as dhulm in Islam. So if that is the case, a question can arise that can we ascribe somehow dhulm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now obviously the basic answer to this and the obvious answer to this is no, absolutely not. We do not ascribe dhulm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all in any shape or form. And even saying this sentence is quite heavy on the tongue, subhanallah. But let's understand this a little bit better. Why is it that we can't ascribe oppression to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? First, let's have a look at what oppression actually means and what is the reality of dhulm. Dhulm, often translated as oppression, is when you transgress over another's property or his honor or his own self or something that he owns. Yeah, that is what is called dhulm. So if you park on somebody else's driveway, that is dhulm because you are transgressing with regards to his property. If you go and backbite and slander a person, that is considered dhulm because you are transgressing with regards to that person's honor. And if you are to harm them physically to the point of death even, that is considered dhulm because you are harming them physically. You are transgressing against them physically. So that is the reality of dhulm, transgression, going overboard. And with another way we can look at oppression also is if we transgress in the Sharia. If we commit sins, if we do wrong, that is oftentimes coined as dhulm. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He calls shirk, inna shirka la dhulmun azim. Verily shirk is a major transgression, it's a major oppression. Now when we commit sins and transgress with regards to the Sharia, with regards to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with regards to our deen, then that is considered oppression with regards to what the borders and boundaries that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set for us. Now, do we say then that we are somehow transgressing against Allah, we are oppressing Allah? No, we don't say that. Because anything that we do with regards to our deen, we are only transgressing and oppressing our own selves. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the Quran, وَمَا ظَلَمُونَا وَلَكِنْ كَانُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ يَظْلِمُونَ. That they did not oppress us or harm us in any way, shape or form, but they only did that to themselves. So, now that we understand a little bit about the realities of dhulm, can we now ascribe that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We have to understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator, the sustainer, the owner of all things, existent and non-existent, physical and metaphysical, in this world and the next world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He owns it all. And it doesn't make sense to say that a person can oppress and transgress with regards to his own property. So if someone has a phone and he throws it, that is not considered a transgression against his own property. It's for him to do as he pleases with his phone, right? If a person decides to criticize his own self and say that, you know what, I'm a failure in life and I don't deserve the praise that I get from people, this is not considered oppression against himself or transgression against himself. This is just him criticizing himself, right? So a person can't oppress what they have. A person can't sort of transgress with regards to their own property, right? Unless it goes against the Sharia, which again, that is regards to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with that in mind, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns everything, then He can't be ascribed, or oppression can't be ascribed and transgression can't be ascribed to Him. That is like ascribing heedlessness to a wall. It just doesn't go. There's no correlation between the two. So likewise, there's no correlation between dhulm and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what Imam al-Ghazali mentions in his book Al-Iqtisad fi al-I'tiqad. And I hope inshallah that sheds a little bit of light on the situation. One more point to add though, is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Ya ibadi inni harramtu dhulma ala nafsi وجعلته محرما بينكم فلا تظالموا. That, O my servants, I have made dhulm, oppression and transgression, haram on myself, and I have made it haram between you, amongst you, so do not transgress and do not oppress one another. What does it mean when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He's made dhulm haram on His own self? That is what we call an emphasis on the sanctity of each other, and the immense harm and how great a sin oppression is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When He ascribes this, when He ascribes the prohibition to Himself, He is emphasizing this prohibition. Just like when He says, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Allah and His angels send prayers and salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is emphasizing and aggrandizing this concept of sending prayers and salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that when we do it, we know that we are going to get a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And likewise, if we oppress one another, there is a great punishment waiting for us if we are to continue to do so. So, hope inshallah that sheds some light on the concept of dhulm and how that is not to be ascribed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way, shape or form, knowing He is the Malik al-Mulk, He is the owner of all things, He is the Mudabbir, He is the Khaliq, He is the Raziq, He is the Creator, and He is the Sustainer. And for Him, He does what He pleases. And anything that happens to us from what we perceive as being evil, that is just a trial and a test to see which of us are His beloved servants and which of us turn to Him and which of us turn away in pride and arrogance. So when we see what is going on around us today, we recognize that that is just a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever passes away through these tests and trials, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes to bring those who believe and love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala close to Him so that He can meet them and see them. And for those who are on the other side and on the other path, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ended for them their ability to return to Him, and for them is a heinous punishment awaiting for them. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from that, guide us to Iman, and grant us istiqamah upon the Salat al-Mustaqim. I hope you benefited from this video, inshaAllah ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khaira. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.